Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to bring you this adorable newborn cable hat. You can also get the written pattern for this project in the link above. So let's get started. Hey, welcome back everyone. So today I am going to be making a hat to show you guys how to make. This was actually something that was requested. With all the cabling that I've been doing, and all the cable hats that I've been making, people have been asking me if I have any cable hats for babies. Well, up until this point I really did not, but today I'm going to show you guys exactly how to make an infant hat cable style. And this one I actually had made a while ago. I was kind of testing it out to see how it worked, and this hat has no back post double crochets in it at all. It's just completely cables, and it actually worked out really well. This one is actually for more like a 3 to 6 month baby, depending on the size of the baby. Also, it could fit a baby 6 to 12 months. It just depends on the growth of the child. So, but this size will be added to the pattern, but today I'm going to show you guys how to make the newborn. So this is for babies that just, were just born. So let's go ahead and make this one today. Okay guys, so this is what you're going to need for this tutorial. You need some yarn. I'm using a 4 worsted weight yarn. You can also use 3, but I would use 4 because it's a bit heavier, and for a baby head, especially for a baby who's just been born, you want the extra warmth. And then we're going to need scissors, the yarn needle, our size H 5.0 millimeter hook, and we're going to need our fabric tape measure. So go grab all your goodies and come on back and we'll get started. Also, what I want to show you guys is this little chart that I use when I am designing hats. I like to be able to have some math that's already been figured out so I don't have to sit down and do it. And all of these are tried and true. I've made hats based off of these size charts for years. So they're always pretty much the exact fit, and they don't really give me an issue as far as size is concerned. So you can go on Google and you can look up the measurements for hats and headbands, or look up crochet measurement for hats, and it'll give you a chart like this. There's a bunch of them, so you just have to choose which one you want. This is the one that I use. So today we're going to be doing the newborn, which is a 13-inch hat circumference, which means that the band will be stretched all the way out. So when you stretch the band, as you're pulling it, it has to equal 13 inches across. Okay, so that when you fold it in half, it's half of that, 7.5 inches across when it's stretched. And then your hat height is going to be 4.5 inches. In some cases, you can also go up to 5 inches. This hat has been made 5 inches tall from the brim to the top where we have the final decrease and as it's sewn up. Let me show you really quickly what I mean. So from the brim to the top is 5 inches. So basically, as long as you're somewhere between that 4.5 and 5 inches in height, you're good to go. So you're going to need to get your yarn. Right now I am using Mainstays. And the reason I use Mainstays is because it's incredibly cheap and it's incredibly soft, and I can get it at Walmart. And when I'm there, I can just pick up extra skeins of yarn and it doesn't break the budget. Alright, well, first thing we're going to do, and I've got my little notes here so I can teach from them. You want your hook and you want your yarn. Some people ask me, how much yarn is this going to take? You won't need an entire skein. I would say have at least a half a skein of yarn with you, and you'll be able to make the hat from the beginning to the end and still have some yarn left over in case you want to make a pom-pom. Alright, so we need our slip knot. And then we are going to chain 5. 2, 3, 4. Alright, so if you guys have made hats with me before, you know how I make my rows of single crochets for the band in the space under the space where the yarn is coming through. Not here, but right here. You're going to make your very first single crochet. And then that's would be considered the second single when you skipped over that space, that was the first, that's considered the first single crochet. So that's the second one here. And this is 3, 4, and 5 at the end. And now what we're going to do is chain 1, and this chain 1 counts in every row. It counts as the very first single crochet of the next row. Turn your work. And then what we're going to do is make our second single crochet, because like I said, we've already got the first one here. We're going to make the second single crochet in this very first post here. We want to go and flip this over so you see the V. We're going to be working in the back loop only, and we're going to make it in the back loop of this very first post here. So go up, find the V, it's right there, make that second single crochet. And then in every single back loop of each one, we're going to make 1 single crochet until we have 5. This was number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now if you don't like chaining 1 here and then turning the work, what you can do is go ahead and turn your work and then make your chain 1, and then that will be your first single crochet. You can do that as well. And then, as I said, we're going to work into the back loop of the first post. Right here's the first post, back loop is right here. And then that's going to be single crochet number 2. And then we're going to go 3, 4, and 5. Chain 1, turn your work. You'll see that back loop in that first post. And that will be the second single crochet. 3, 4, 5. Alright, now that you know what to do, remember to chain 1 so that you have your first one for every row. What you're going to do is you're going to make 38 rows of single crochets. And then when you get done with 38 rows, when we stretch it out, it will be exactly 13 inches. So go ahead and finish your rows, and I will meet you when I'm finished. Okay, so I now have 38 rows, and I'm going to bring this end of my band and this end of my band and bring them together. And then I am going to slip stitch sew this band together at the ends. So what you want to do, if you've never done this before, is put your hook through that one space at the top here. Okay, bring those 2 band pieces together, grab your yarn, and then pull through both loops right here. And that's a slip stitch. Now you've connected the band, and now all you have to do is just start sewing it up with slip stitches. So we're going to go through the front to the back, grab the yarn, pull it through, and then bring it through the loop. That way you've done a slip stitch. That should be the second one. We need 5. 3, front to back. 4, front to back. And then 5 is going to be over here in this little corner. That way we have the band worked all the way across. And then into this little space here. And that's 5. And now we have this connected. Now the band is going to go inside out like this. Flip it so that this part is on the inside of the band. And take your hook out. And then what you want to do is turn this over like this. Okay, so now the part you just slip stitch is going to be on the inside, and now your loop is here. Insert your hook. We're going to work this way on the band. The first thing we're going to do and that we have to do is we have to add 2 stitches to this body. The reason being is because we're going to be making nothing but cables. And in order to get the cable count that we need for each cable to work out exact, we need to have exactly 40 stitches. Right now we have 38 rows in the band, but that's not going to be enough. So we're going to make 2 increases in the body before we do anything else. So the first thing I want you to do is chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And as you know, and like I said, if you've made hats with me before, you know how I do this. Every single row is going to be on either the right or the left side of this raised area here, what I call the peaks and the valleys of the band. So you have this area here, and then you have this area over here. 1 row, 1 row. So you have 2 rows here. What we want to do at this point is that this chain right here is actually going to count as the very first double crochet of the row. And we're going to be doing double crochets all the way around this row. It's going to be the setup row. This is where we make our increases, and then that way we'll be ready to move forward with the cables the following row. So what we want to do is make an increase right in the same space here where the chain is, so that we can have 2. That increase would be completed. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this increase right into the space right here, which is on the right side of this raised area here. So go ahead and make your first double crochet here, and now that's considered an increase. So now over here in the space right next to it is going to be where we're going to make our next double crochet to the right of the raised area. And then we're going to look for the raised area here, and then we're going to look to the left. Now you're going to see that other space right here. Make another double crochet. And then make your next double crochet into the space just right to the raised area here. And then again in this space right here, just to the left of that area. And that's exactly where you're going to put every stitch. Now what we need to do is make exactly 20 of these, and then when we get to number 20, we're going to make 21 in the same space as 20. So go ahead and make all of your double crochets around, making sure to put 1 in each row on the right and the left side of the raised area. When you get to number 20, go ahead and stop, and we'll make the increase together. Okay, so I've just made 20, and if you'll notice 20 actually was put into the space just to the left of the raised area here. So now in 20 we want to add 21. So make your increase, and then we're going to continue all the way around the band. No more increases. This is the last one. So right and left side of the raised areas, make your stitches until you have exactly 40, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. 39 and 40. And then when you get down to 40, you're going to see where your very first chain was from the row at the beginning. And we are going to slip stitch into the top of that chain and join our row. Okay, now moving forward, this is where we start our cables. Now this is going to be a little different than what you guys have seen me do before. The reason I have to do this way is because we don't have any back post double crochets to separate the cables. So this changes the way that we begin every row. So instead of chaining, what we're going to do is, I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but it's a front post single crochet. It's the same thing as a front post double, it's just that you don't yarn over. So around this post right here, where you just connected, you're going to go up behind that post, grab your yarn, pull it through, and then you're going to finish off the single crochet and then chain 2. Now you have what would be considered the very first front post triple crochet of this row. Now you're going to yarn over twice, and then in the next post here you're going to make a front post triple crochet. as you've noticed, we're making the cable, but we don't have any stitches to go back to that we've skipped. So what we have to do, and this is probably going to be a little bizarre for some of you guys, we started here, this is the beginning of the row, but we're going to use these other 2 posts back here to finish our cable. So we're actually kind of going backwards. I want you to yarn over twice, go back to the first of these 2 to the right, and work that triple crochet around that post. And then this one here next to it, you're going to work a triple crochet around that as well. And then your cable is complete. And now what we're going to do is bypass the next 2 posts, and around the 3rd post we're going to make another front post triple crochet, which is also going to be the first post of the new cable. As I said, we don't have any back post double crochets to separate the cables from each other, so it's just going to be cable, 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 cable. That's all we're doing is cabling. So yarn over twice, go around post number 4 and finish off that stitch, and then you want to go back here to the 2 that we skipped, and then front post around this first one, and then front post triple around this one. Okay, so now you have 2 cables made, and that is all we're doing. Triple crochet cables. Skip these 2, go around the 3rd one and make that first front post triple crochet here, yarn over twice, make the next front post triple crochet around the 4th post, and then we're going to do the same again around post number 1 and then number 2. Triple crochet around number 1 that we skipped, and then around the 2nd one that we skipped. I'll do one more with you guys, and I'm going to have you work on this row by yourselves. And if you need to, you can always back up the video just a little bit until we started this row, and then you can watch how the cables are made again if you need to. So now we have to find the next 2 posts, skip those, around that 3rd post here, 1, 2, 3. We're going to make our front post triple crochet, and then around the next post, and then those 2 that we skipped, we'll go back to the first one here, make that front post triple crochet, and then another triple crochet around this one. Okay, super easy, and I know you guys can do this on your own. So go ahead and finish all the cables until you get to the other side where we started, and then what you're going to notice is that you're going to have these 2 back posts right here, and these are going to be the area that we connect and join our row when we get done with the last cable. So I will see you over here. Okay, so here we are at the end of the row, and I'm going to show you how to connect your row here. Notice how you have these 4 posts from that very first cable that you made. Okay, now you're going to want to join your row at the top of this first post in the back, and that way now you have both cables together like all the others. All right, now all we're going to do is do front post double crochets around every single post at this point, because we're going to give each one of our cables length. So what you want to do around the first one here, and like I said, you're never going to chain anything at the beginning of these rows. You're going to make front post single crochets around the very first post. That means you're going to make a single crochet front post like that, and then chain 2, which is going to give you the height that you need for the actual stitch. That is going to count as your very first front post double crochet. And then you're going to make your next front post double crochet around the next post hiding in the back. And these are double crochets, they're not triples. The triples are only used on the cable rows, and that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and make front post double crochets around each post. If you have a hard time separating these, just remember that there's 2 here. Pull them apart. There's a space between. There's 2 here. Put your finger between there, and you'll be able to see the 2 back here and the 2 up front. The ones in the back always get worked first. So go ahead and make your first front post double crochet here, and then around the next one in the back. And then work the front ones. And that's all you're going to do. All the way around the row. Separate these. Work the back 2, then work the front 2, all the way around every single cable, and then I will meet you at the end of the row. Okay, so here we are at the end of the row. Here's the chain where we started the row at. We're going to go ahead and join the row at the top of that chain, just like that. And now we're going to do one more row of what we just did. We're going to make front post double crochets all the way around every post. This will be the last row that we do that. As I said at the beginning of the row, we don't chain. We go around that post right there, grab the yarn, 2 loops on the hook, make that single crochet, chain 2, and then your very first double crochet is made. And then you're going to front post double crochet around every single post in the row, and then I will meet you at the end of the row and I will show you how to make the next cable, because it's not exactly the same as the first one, so you'll want to pay close attention. Alright, you guys, go ahead and finish this row and I'll meet you at the end. So here we go. We're going to join the row like we always do at the very top of this next chain here, and now we're done. Now this next row is where we start the new cables. The thing is we want the cables to be exactly on top of each other where they've been. So that means that we're going to have to slip stitch to the 3rd post over. Right now we're in the first one. We need to slip stitch into the 2nd and then slip stitch into the 3rd. So at the top chain up here, or this space up here, you're going to go in, grab your yarn, pull it through, and then slip stitch to that space. And then you're going to slip stitch to the next space as well. And that's all you have to do. Now you're in the top of the 3rd post, and now all you have to do is, like what we do at the beginning of the row, you know, when we don't chain and then we make the front post single crochet, we're going to make a front post single crochet here around this 3rd post, and then we're going to chain 2, and now you have the equivalent of the first front post triple crochet. And now you're going to front post triple crochet around post number 4. And then we're going to go back and pick up these 2 that we skipped. So triple crochet around the first one here to the right. And then again around the second one that we skipped here. Okay, and then just continue making your cables as normal. Skip the first two and then make your first triple, front post triple around the third one, again around the fourth. Okay, and then we're going to go over here to the ones we skipped. The one here to the right, the first one, make a triple crochet, and then another around the one we skipped here. And that's all you do. I'll do one more cable with you and then I'll have you do this on your own. Skip the first two, front post triple crochet around the third post, and then again around the fourth post, and then we're going to go back to the ones we skipped and pick up that first one here, front post triple crochet around the first post, and then again around the second one. Alright you guys, well that's it. Go ahead and finish off this row, making your cables all the way around, and I will meet you back here at the end. Okay, so here we are at the beginning of the row here, and we need to pull these posts over so you can see where we're going to be joining the row. Okay, so here's your chain, and then you're going to go ahead and connect your row right there, and then your cables are together. Now we're going to go ahead and do 2 rows of front post double crochets. Okay, just like we did before. We did the cable and then we did the 2 rows of front post double crochets. Now we have the cable and we need 2 rows of front post double crochets again. So I will start this one with you here, and then I'll have you do it on your own. So here we are at the beginning of the row. No chain is needed. Front post single crochet around this post and chain 2, and then front post double crochet around the next post, which is back here and hiding, and then around the next 2 posts as well, and then find those other ones hiding behind. Front post double crochets, front post double crochets, and then again finding those in the back, front post double crochets, two front post double crochets. And now you guys know what you're doing, so go ahead and do this to the end of the row, and I'll meet you back here when we're finished. Okay, I am now at the end and we are going to join our row. So as you'll notice, you have these posts over here that have already been worked, and then we're going to join at the top of this chain here, and just like that, and pull those cables together. And then we're going to make another row exactly identical to what we just did. So make the front post single crochet right here, no chain, and then we're going to finish it off with 2 chains above the single crochet. Now we're going to continue on and make front post double crochets all the way around to the end of the row. So go ahead and do this row on your own, and I will meet you at the end. Alright, I finished the row here and we're going to join. So let's find this chain over here and slip stitch to join. Okay. Now what we want to do is pull out the measuring tape because we're going to need it here. What we want to make sure is that from the band to the top of the hat is 5 inches, between 4.5 and 5 inches. We have 2 cable rows, and then we have 2 rows between them. So now that means that we are at 3.5 inches here, and we need 1.5 inches left to finish the hat off. So now we're going to start our decreases. Instead of making the front post single crochet around the first post here, we're going to make it around the first 2 posts. And then chain 2. And then we're going to decrease by 2 all the way around using double crochets, front post double crochets. And then that's all you're going to do this row, is decrease by half. When you finish this row, you're going to have 20 double crochets. Okay, so once you've done 1 double crochet around each double crochet around, we're going to go ahead and join the row. And then we're going to go ahead and work our very last decrease row. So the way we're going to do it is I'm going to make the front post single crochet around those 2. And we're going to finish off the single crochet and chain 2. And then we're going to decrease 2 by 2. When you finish decreasing, you should only have 10 stitches. Okay, and then we're at the end here, and we're going to join at the top of this chain, and then we are at the end of our row. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and measure. And this hat with this yarn is going to be 4.5 inches. With this yarn is a little bit thicker. It's a different type of yarn as well. I think it's either a 4 or a 5, but it's also the I Love This yarn brand, and this is Mainstays, which is a little bit different. When you work them up, one's a bit thicker than the other, so one looks bigger. This one is just a little bit more deceiving, I guess. It does measure at 5 inches. Following the exact same pattern with this yarn, it does shrink it by a 1/2 inch. But it will still work for a baby head. So you have 4.5 inches of room, and this will fit a brand new newborn baby. So let's go ahead and continue. We'll need our scissors now. So go ahead and get those out. And we're going to go ahead and pull this through. And then we need our yarn needle. And go ahead and thread the needle. And then we need to go ahead and weave up our top. I like to just weave my needle around, so like behind one post and then in front of a post and then behind a post again, and that's how I do mine. And then when you get all the way around, it'll just close up the top for you, and then just push this down into the middle into the inside of the hat and pull it through. And then pop your hat inside out real quick. And we're going to go ahead and sew this up just a little bit. Just like if you're sewing by hand. Make that little loop right here. Go through that twice. Pull it taut. And then we're going to go ahead and hide our yarn like we would with any project. And then when you're done, and then we'll take care of this next one here. Push the needle through to the other side. And in the raised areas here, we're just going to go back and forth. And then we'll snip that off. And we are finished. And so there you have it, guys. This is just the cutest little baby hat I think I've probably seen in a long time. So anyway, as you can see, it's got the cables in there. It does have no cable here, which I probably could have added an extra cable and then done a decrease, but I did not do that on this one. Anyway, it's perfect for any little teeny tiny newborn baby. The hat from here to here is 4.5 inches. On this one, and this is, like I said, this is the mainstays yarn and made with the exact same hook. So, and this yarn just works up a little bit bigger. So this one probably would fit a baby, I would say up to maybe 2 months old, perhaps, maybe 3, depending on the baby. But this one, yeah, this one will fit a newborn, just born. So I hope you guys liked today's tutorial. If you have any questions about any of the stitching techniques, anything, go ahead and leave comments below and I will do my very best to get back with you. If you don't want to leave comments, then you can always also send me an email at fibertheory@yahoo.com and I will get back with you at my earliest convenience. So I hope you guys make a bunch of these. I hope you give them away for baby showers or make them for your grandchildren that maybe you're expecting. And yeah, and they work up super quick. They probably take a good half an hour to 45 minutes at the most. And they're super cute and they're super lightweight and I think it's adorable. And a baby's head is about the size of an adult fist. So it should fit just fine, no problems. Alright, you guys, we'll make a whole bunch of these and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and for all the latest updates on future projects, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the handle @fibertheory. Remember to subscribe and hit that bell icon for all future project notifications. Have a great day.